All right, let's get started. So welcome to everyone who has logged in to join me today for the Planet Retail RNG Amazon monthly briefing for September 2018. For those of you who maybe are joining this webinar series we do here at Planet Retail RNG for the first time, it's a monthly call that I host where we run through the most recent kind of Amazon developments of the past month with the key reasoning, initiatives, and thought process behind them that's most relevant to people operating in retail and at FMCG manufacturers. And then we do a deep dive on one Amazon tactic that would be key to any supplier's business working with Amazon.com. September was a particularly busy month, so we're excited to get started. Two bits of housekeeping before we jump into the call. On the last slide of the deck, you will be able to find my email. Feel free to reach out to me after the call if you have any questions or if you'd like to learn more about Planet Retail RNG and some of the work we do. Additionally, in the GoToWebinar tool that we're all logged into here, there's a question and answer tool as well. At the end of the call, I will leave a few minutes for questions. I'll try and run through as many as I can. If I don't get to your question, we will be looking to reach out after the fact with answers from me. So with that, let's get started. Just to introduce myself to everyone on the call, I'm a senior analyst here at Planet Retail RNG based out of our Boston office. I lead and work on a great deal of the publishing and research we do around e-commerce, the pure play retailers around the world. So that encompasses everything from Alibaba to Amazon to JD.com to Walmart.com. I also do a fair amount of research and work in our digital kind of innovation area. So looking at the technologies that are transforming the future of retail. A major part of all of that work is looking at Amazon. Amazon is one of the most important and perhaps most relevant e-commerce retailers in the world and affects everyone's businesses. So I spend a fair amount of my time covering Amazon and doing things like producing these webinars, which we're going to go through today. To run through the agenda, as I've already said, we'll do a quick recent event recap from the past month since our last monthly briefing, and then we'll jump into this month's tactic. This month, we're going to do a brief dive into in-stock availability, a critical metric and competency area for any business operating on Amazon.com. But first, looking at some of the recent events, it has been a very busy month. But I wanted to frame out, more than just kind of news headlines. Obviously, following the press around Amazon, it is a busy company doing a lot of different things in a lot of different places. And I wanted to bring in kind of one of our Planet Retail RNG frameworks that we use to really understand business models like Amazon.com. And one of the defining features of Amazon and many of the other kind of scaled retail marketplaces around the world, whether it be Alibaba, JD, Walmart, is that they are more than just simply a retail platform facilitating orders in a traditional retail environment. These e-commerce platforms are what we really think are digital ecosystems. They are in business lines that are only somewhat related to retail, in some cases not at all related to retail, that are supportive in both a financial sense and in kind of a captive ecosystem sense to their total business. We see four key pillars, which you see on the screen here, that define what is a digital ecosystem. All of these pillars flow into one another and support the success of these massively scaled e-commerce platforms that are transforming retail around the world, like Amazon. The first pillar that we look at is the expansive value stack of Amazon.com and others. This is basically the depth and breadth of the offering that is facing shoppers and consumers that are interfacing with the platform, whether it be a convenient under 2-hour delivery system or a really curated shopping experience online, whether it be a membership program like Amazon Prime and the content you receive through that, whether it be the breadth of categories you can see there, or the innovative programs they offer. This expansive value stack that these ecosystems offer is unmatched across retail and makes these platforms really captive to shoppers and also really demand driving. So they bring shoppers to the platform. Outside of that, one of the key areas there is that because these platforms are so large, scale is a key feature of how they operate. It's not necessarily just a result of how they operate. E-commerce is an economically difficult business model to operate. Fulfilling things to shoppers' doorsteps takes out a great deal of the traditional retail business model that is handled by the shopper, pick, pack, and bring the item home themselves. In order to make the economics of e-commerce really work, you need to drive tremendous scale and volume to lower costs and also bring in just more kind of order density and volume to make the model work better and drive greater throughput through the platform and also support the rest of the ecosystem. One of the great symptoms for these business models with that tremendous scale is data. Amazon, Alibaba, Walmart, others, they have access to some of the most valuable consumer data sets in the world because they have such tremendous viewership, volume, shopper activity across retail channels. This allows them to be strategically highly intelligent in what businesses, lines they get into, what new programs they offer, what new products they maybe would look to manufacture themselves. It makes them some of the most skilled retail operators in the world. And then as a part of that kind of skilled retail operation is they are highly technologically innovative. So these platforms are more than just traditional retailers. They are looking to invent what is the future of retail. They'll do things like develop brand new product categories like the Amazon Alexa hardware suite, or look to transform what is the future of high-speed fulfillment. Amazon is currently investing heavily in what could be the future of delivery through drones. Outside of that, they invest heavily in things like content to keep shoppers captive to their platforms. Because these businesses are more than just simply retailers, they are staying ahead of the technology curve. They are some of the most innovative technology companies in the world, and this gives them a competitive advantage. Obviously, all of this is informed by the data that we talked about a little bit earlier. So using this framework, I wanted to go through some of the recent kind of news headlines of the past month and frame those out based on kind of Amazon's overarching strategy as a digital ecosystem, not just a retailer. In really recent news today, Amazon has a surprise opening of a brand new store format. Amazon has a few of its own store formats. They have, Amazon Fresh Pickups out in Seattle. They have the Amazon Bookstore. They purchased the Whole Foods store network last year. They have the famous Amazon Go stores, which we'll get in a little bit in the next slide. But this is a brand new format. It's called Amazon 4-Star, and it is opened in New York City. It actually has a lot of similarities with the Amazon Bookstore, except it has all different types of categories in it. The idea is that every single item in this curated store, this curated shopping experience, is 4 stars or above on Amazon.com. As you explore the store as a shopper, you can see real live reviews of items on the edges of shelves. All of the items have electronic shelf tags that advertise a standard price for anyone who walks in off the street, and then a Prime member only price, which is a live price that matches the price you'll see on Amazon.com and is often at a discount to what the average shopper would be paying. This is obviously to incentivize Prime membership in shoppers coming into the store, the idea that they can get discounts on some of these items. They have curated sections, things trending by geographic area, trending around NYC, as you can see on the left here, also trending by category. The idea here is Amazon has expressed that they will not get into any single form of physical retail or store format that they can't be differentiated in. They either need to offer a really unique solution to a particular shopper trip through technology, like the Amazon Go store, or a really unique and experiential shopping experience, like this highly curated store. It also shows Amazon's ability to utilize data here, those data streams. Amazon is probably the single greatest repository of product reviews in the entire retail landscape today online, and they are utilizing that not just passively for shoppers to check on their mobile app, but actively in their stores to utilize kind of the star ratings of items to curate what in a finite environment like a store is shown on the shelves to shoppers. This is something that store-based retailers that don't have the depth of Amazon, the scale of Amazon, the data of Amazon just simply cannot do. Also in the store-based retail environment, plans emerged supposedly that Amazon is considering expanding its Amazon Go network to 3,000 stores. This would be really revolutionary. For those who are maybe not familiar with Amazon Go, the idea is it utilizes checkout list technology. When you come into the store, you scan your phone, your Amazon account is associated with your shopping experience. It tracks everything you pick up off the shelves, and then you simply just walk out the door and you are automatically charged. Amazon is currently grappling with the idea of if these stores should be more like a 7-Eleven, where shoppers go in and grab, a mix of light groceries, drinks and beverages, convenience items off the shelves, or if it should be more ready-made foods, more like a Pret, for example, where shoppers can go in and buy sandwiches, things like that, in a convenient manner. This would be really transformational in terms of shopper expectations if there were 3,000 of these locations eventually around the country, where shoppers would not even have to deal with checkouts, and potentially really competitively disruptive to not just the convenience space, but retail in general. Moving into a different area outside of physical retailing, Amazon has rebranded its total ad offering to vendors and sellers. They are calling it one singular name, Amazon Advertising. Before it was a suite of products, Amazon Marketing Services, Amazon Media Group. Now it is simply Amazon Advertising. This is a growing business line for Amazon. As you can see here, quarter over quarter, Amazon's advertising net sales only increases, and it's a highly profitable area for Amazon. Some research analysts are predicting that Amazon's advertising business is going to drive more profit into the Amazon digital ecosystem than Amazon's very profitable web services arm within 3 to 4 years. And this is being confirmed by outside data. eMarketer recently published a report indicating that Amazon is officially the third largest online ad platform, following by a fair margin Google and Facebook. We already know that according to shopper surveys, over 50% of product-based search online starts on Amazon because of all those reviews, all of that scale that Amazon has, depth of assortment. Amazon's going to continually look to monetize that viewership and drive greater ad dollars into its business, supporting its digital ecosystem in total with a really profitable business line, using those profits to really subsidize its retail offering and make it a really great place for shoppers to shop. Amazon also had an announcement of a new suite of Alexa-powered devices. Alexa is Amazon's voice offering. Basically, they invented a pretty much new category with the voice-powered smart speaker, using artificial intelligence to do everything from, tell you what the weather is today to order an item online. They've revamped many of their items that are well known, the Echo Dot for one, the regular Echo speaker, but they've also launched the Echo Show, which has a screen, but they've also launched new products, the Echo Auto, which allows you to take your non-Alexa equipped car and bring some of the skills into that environment. The Amazon Basics microwave. Amazon positions Alexa as basically a Trojan horse, a central inroad into getting into shoppers' homes and influencing their interactions with voice there. They're also making it easier to hook it up to your existing speaker systems. The Echo Input does not have its own speaker. It's the cheapest priced Alexa hardware device, and it can connect with any speaker, Bluetooth or otherwise, in your home. Additionally, they're looking to kind of get into the upmarket speaker market as well. The Echo Link is a device designed to have really high quality Alexa audio flowing into your high quality stereo system. And additionally, if you want to build out your own high quality speaker system with Amazon equipped devices, they're starting to launch things like the Echo Sub, which has really high quality bass sound. The idea here is that with more Alexa devices, Amazon Alexa can be more places, can be more ubiquitous in shoppers' lives and be more influential, getting Amazon those data streams it needs and also influencing the future of voice interactions, which Amazon very, very much wants to be a part of. Also trying to kind of integrate into the home, Amazon has this venture fund that invests in connected home technology and Alexa technology. Many of the companies, as you can see on the right of the screen here, are just very, very centered on getting Alexa, that artificial intelligence system into people's homes in an intuitive way. A few of the companies here actually went on to be acquired by Amazon, but one of the most recent investments is in a really innovative prefabricated home company known as Plant Prefab. Their business model is really focused on making prefabricated single or multifamily homes that are made of sustainable materials, are really efficient to put together. The idea here is that with an investment in kind of a US home builder that's really innovative, how can Amazon integrate some of its connected home technology, most of which kind of rides on the back of Alexa, into the future of US shoppers and eventually global shoppers' homes. Moving into kind of the Amazon web interface, Amazon Storefront is a new offering that's a direct competitive move in opposition to the success of Shopify, helping basically all of the independent small and medium-sized businesses out there that are selling online utilize Amazon to a greater degree. Amazon's business model really relies on the fact that it's a marketplace, the fact that there are millions of third-party sellers on there to really drive success. The depth of assortment that Amazon gets by having third-party sellers and not just first-party inventory really drives shoppers to the platform, and so they really need to court those third-party sellers in any way possible. Amazon is more than 50% third-party sales online, more than 50% of the units moving through the Amazon platform are from third-party sellers. Shopify, with its very intuitive and low-cost entry point systems, allows what potentially could be third-party sellers on Amazon to launch their own websites and sell directly to shoppers through a really intuitive system, really having kind of their own branded storefront experience versus the kind of bland, vanilla, and standardized Amazon listing experience that third-party sellers experience there. The idea of Amazon storefronts is that sellers who really want to have that direct connection outside of just their products with the shoppers can have a really curated storefront that is built on Amazon.com and really establish that connection. So the idea here is for some of those sellers that want that, digital for sure, but experiential shopping connection, they can do that now on Amazon.com with this new trial. Also in the realm of shopping experience, the value stack of Amazon.com is this new program called Scout, which is a competitive, basically, move to position Amazon in a world increasingly influenced by really curated online shopping from the likes of Pinterest and Instagram, moving into this world where the things you see on your feed are really driven by your likes and dislikes. And so in a lot of kind of home decor categories, a little bit of apparel, Amazon has launched this program called Amazon Scout, where you literally go through item listings and thumbs up or thumbs down items you like or dislike and get an increasingly curated selection of things like coffee tables or drapes or bedding or women's shoes. The idea here is that today's shopper is increasingly social, increasingly look for items that are kind of curated to their interests. Amazon, to this stage, has been a great place for finding any item you really want, but you need to know that item when you go to Amazon.com. It has not been a great place for curating browsing and shopping experience. So with a program like this, Amazon's looking to defend itself from the future of Instagram shopping, Pinterest shopping, with a more curated shopping experience. Some from maybe one of our Amazon briefings a few months ago might remember that rumors emerged that Snapchat was embedding code to allow visual search for Amazon shopping. This has proved true. You will now be able to utilize your Snapchat camera and your Snapchat app to look at an item. The visual search tool will identify the item, and then you will be able to purchase the item on Amazon.com through this technical link up on the back end. This is a valuable and important partnership for Amazon, who looks to partner with retailers, technology platforms, manufacturers across the board. Snapchat has tremendous usage, has as a company had difficulty monetizing its business model, and by kind of connecting with that, Amazon gains just another camera lens, really, that takes billions upon billions of pictures a day through the Snapchat app and are able to influence commerce through that really popular app. In negative news to Amazon, increasingly concerns of the regulatory nature are emerging. Because Amazon is a large-scale digital ecosystem, antitrust concerns often arise. Amazon, as I said earlier, looks to be more than just a retailer. They're really more of an enabling platform for manufacturers, retailers, what have you. I think the concern of the European Competitive Commission here is that platform aspect in regards to retail. Amazon is at all times, in one way, a retailer trying to sell to shoppers across Europe in their many markets there, but also an enabling platform allowing, through partnerships, retailers to sell on Amazon.com. Also partnering with programs. Amazon is with Prime now in cities like Paris, delivering items from grocery stores there to shoppers' doorsteps. Increasingly, retailers, European or otherwise, can build things like Alexa skills. In the United States, Best Buy has an Alexa skill. Amazon is gathering tremendous shopper data from not just their own platform, but from the transactions that all of these other retailers are curating through the Amazon platform in one way or another. This is concerning from an antitrust perspective, that there's this much aggregation and consolidation of retailers, not through acquisition, but simply through partnership. And so there is a probe currently ongoing around this. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Also, in kind of the international sphere, Amazon moved to acquire Souq in 2017. It's basically the Amazon of the Middle East. And in true Amazon fashion, they're looking to drive scale by connecting buyers around the world with a truly global inventory base. The way they get to that point is intermediate steps like this, the Souq Global Store. The idea here is that for shoppers in the Middle East, they will now, through the Amazon connection to Souq, be able to offer or be able to access inventory from the United States, be able to transact in their local currency, be able to access really popular Western brands at an affordable price. This is just one step to this idea that Amazon increasingly wants to be a global platform connecting global sellers, global inventory with global buyers, and really driving that growth and scale around the world. Also internationally, in India, Amazon made a really interesting move, probably their well, definitely one of their biggest acquisitions in the store-based space ever since the Whole Foods acquisition. They acquired a 540 store grocery chain, more, in India. They did this in partnership with a local financial institution, Samara Capital. The idea here is they need to be careful around Indian foreign direct investment regulations, which are fairly stringent there. They did it for 580 million US dollars. Moore's store presence as a grocer actually is in many kind of tier 2 and 3 Indian cities. So potentially Amazon could link up things like their Prime Now delivery, which they've launched in a few of the biggest Indian cities. They could perhaps start delivering grocery items from those stores and have a greater geographic coverage area. Amazon has acknowledged through their acquisitions of Whole Foods, through their expansion of Prime Now perishable delivery, that they need to make some investments in physical retail spaces if they're really going to go after the consumables category. Selling perishables online is really difficult, and by having kind of physical store networks, they're better able to enter that category, which is something they want to do around the globe. And then finally, also kind of in that same sphere, in Amazon.mx, they are offering shelf-stable, non-perishable food and beverage items now. Amazon launched a full marketplace in Mexico a few years ago, and now they are selling kind of shelf-stable items there. This is an initial step to eventually maybe perhaps selling full grocery. Amazon's big rival, Walmart in North America, in Mexico, actually moved to acquire a local grocery delivery company called Corner Shop recently, and is also looking to expand click and collect at Walmex stores, maybe even home delivery. So if Amazon wants to be positioned for the future of whatever online grocery is in Mexico, which is still very kind of nascent and developing, Amazon needs to start to develop that shopper association with grocery items and Amazon.com. This is one way to do that. So with that, we'll take a quick pause here, and we'll now look at very briefly one Amazon tactic, in-stock availability. Now, I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of manufacturer supply chains. lead times, just-in-time inventory management, and some of the agreements that vendors have with their retail partners, including Amazon. That's not within the scope of this call, but I am going to just look at theoretically the importance of being in stock on Amazon.com and how that can be such a hindrance or a help to your Amazon business as a manufacturer. So first, out of stock listings, what's the big deal here? Well, the big deal is that it is hypercritical on Amazon.com. It is your basically digital storefront, and being in stock keeps your personal flywheel spinning. Everyone is familiar with the Amazon flywheel. Greater assortment leads to greater shopper viewership, leads to greater sales volume, leads to a better shopper experience, leads to more sellers on the platform, which leads to greater assortment, and the wheel goes on and on. More innovation, that digital ecosystem keeps powering up. Now, there's also a flywheel for suppliers on the platform. Being in stock on the platform drives greater shopper viewership, sales volume. Amazon forecasts greater sales volume, orders more items, has more items in stock. Shoppers increasingly review your items. You have more positive reviews. It helps the Amazon search algorithm. Your items appear higher in search. More shoppers buy them, and it spins on and on. When you go out of stock, things happen like losing the buy box. You don't get the reviews of your items necessarily. Or if your items are still available, but from third-party sellers, perhaps price levels get eroded. Sellers come in and go after shoppers with artificially inflated prices to basically take advantage of them, and that affects the price perception that you as a brand have tried to set for your items on the platform. So out of stocks can be really disruptive. I think one of the ones I just referenced that's really important is the buy box. The buy box is the most valuable inventory on Amazon.com. When a shopper clicks into the individual listing that they're interested in purchasing, Amazon shows one item either fulfilled by them in a first-party way, ships and sold from Amazon.com is the way to see that, or from a third-party seller. And this is selected by an algorithm, and most often the shopper simply hits add to cart or buy now, the item that's in the buy box. The losers in this scenario are all the sellers or the first-party listing that basically didn't get the sale on the item. One of the key items to being in the buy box, probably the prerequisite to being in the buy box, is being in stock. Yes, there are other things that are valuable. 3P sellers set their own prices, so price levels matter for what wins the buy box. Being Prime eligible helps you win the buy box as well. Being in an Amazon warehouse, able to ship in under 2 days or less to shoppers' doorsteps. But before all of that, you must be in stock to be a buy box eligible item. Out of stocks are a really common and disruptive Amazon issue. Here's just an example, a sample here of the issues here that potentially cause lost sales volume on Amazon.com. And far and away, month over month here, you're seeing that the blue bar out of stock is the single greatest component of the bar. And this can be from a lot of common issues, ordering issues, Amazon under forecasts, or Amazon auto obsoletes your item. There's a glitch in the system, the item craps out. Let's look a little bit more deeply into that. So one thing that happens on Amazon.com is items are evaluated on a unit level economic basis. And so if Amazon, based on what they purchased the price on a first party basis, can't make a profit on the item based on the price level that you're seeing on Amazon.com set by their algorithm, they will simply delist the item, becomes unavailable. Third party sellers can move in on the listing, list at whatever prices they choose. Profitability has a slow decline. In some cases, you can see how close your item is to this can't realize a profit level sometimes by its kind of listing characterization. Basically, you can't be in stock if Amazon is not ordering your inventory, and Amazon will not order your inventory if your item craps out. So you need to really evaluate unit level economics of your items. There's a few ways, one of which is just basically trying to influence the price based on the types of assortment you have on Amazon, things like multi-packs or solution bundles, or trying to prevent price matching across online platforms with kind of unique product assortments for Amazon. Tune into one of our older Amazon webinars where I looked at actually unit level economics to understand some of the dynamics that impact profitability and prevent this crap out dynamic. Another issue is simply that Amazon's sales volume is growing at such a rapid pace that despite their massive investments in fulfillment center capacity, they are having trouble servicing the massive volume of items moving through their FCs, and they're under a lot of pressure to under forecast, and also their systems are imperfect. They oftentimes, especially in seasons of high demand, especially around the holidays which are coming up, under order inventory, causing items to go out of stock. So a potential solution there that we've seen is utilizing selective 3P selling. One way on hybrid marketplaces that we've seen sellers engage here is listing items 3P to basically have items on hand in Amazon warehouses. It's a supportive inventory, and when your 1P inventory sells out, the 3P items that are either there because of your own 3P selling or maybe a 3P partner can support the sales volume, keep the listing online, and keep that flywheel spinning. So let's just look in summary here at out of stocks, and I'll take questions. There's a human-to-human connection here, interfacing with your vendor managers, your SVS, and out of stock issues. If you think there's a glitch in the system, they can manually override in some cases. This is obviously very difficult. Amazon is increasingly pushing vendors to be more hands-on and self-service with their businesses, but if there's a major issue for a highly valuable SKU, there is the potential for manual overrides here. Manage and maintain item level profitability to prevent crap out. Can't realize a profit is a bad thing on Amazon.com. Consider selling as 3P or partnering with one to kind of have supportive inventory in Amazon warehouses with fulfillment by Amazon. And then finally, in summary, staying in stock is really critical. It is important to realize the sales volume that is moving through this really fast growing channel that is Amazon.com. So in-stock levels is something that must be maintained and is a valuable part of any kind of Amazon business strategy for manufacturers around the world. So with that, I will take a quick sip of water here and take a look at your questions. As you can see, my email is on the slide. And feel free to reach out to that if you have any additional questions. The first question I've got here is, Amazon around the world, is there any areas that we think they're going to enter next? I mean, some of their recent moves have been interesting. Launching a full marketplace in Australia has had its starts and stops, but I think they're turning a corner there with greater inventory depth, more 3P sellers, greater assortment. That marketplace platform is going to start to take off. I would not be surprised if we start to see more Amazon program offerings in Australia soon. Amazon LATAM, I talked about a little bit earlier, launching food and bev on the Mexican platform is one step in the direction of Amazon having a more broad offering there, like they have in some of their developed markets in the US and Europe, namely. Brazil, they've recently moved beyond just being a Kindle store there to have some new additional categories in consumer electronics and appliances. Expect Amazon to only continue to expand. I think Southeast Asia is a likely area. I was reading recently, Indonesia is a really fast-growing e-commerce market, also a potential battleground long-term for Amazon and Alibaba. Some of the Nordic countries, the Middle East as well, Amazon's going to continue to broaden their offering there and try and become a really truly global marketplace. All right, let's see here. Is there any indication of whether and when Amazon storefronts and Scout will launch in Europe and UK? The issue here is Amazon as a culture and as a company, especially with these kind of iterations on their website and kind of shopper-facing experience, it's very much kind of a test and learn strategy. And so if the programs are successful, I would expect them to launch in the UK and Germany very quickly. after the United States. But that's the question, if the programs are successful or not with actually driving shopper volume. Amazon has struggled to move beyond kind of the spears fishing shopper trip, where I come to the platform, I know what I want, and I directly search for it, find the item, and order it. So I can't really think of a really big success from Amazon outside of you bought this, you might like that suggestions, in terms of kind of the browse shop for Amazon.com. So I guess I'd caveat and say, first we need to see if in the United States Scout and Storefronts is at all successful in driving sales volume. And then after that, expect it to enter Europe shortly thereafter. The general escalation schedule for Amazon is US first, followed by the UK and Germany. Looking at further questions here. Any news on over-the-counter medicines? Well, we saw Amazon with the Basics private label launch recently, partnered with Perrigo, a private label manufacturer for them for some OTC items. I mean, I'd expect them to continue to promote their PL aggressively on Amazon.com. I think one of the things that any supplier or manufacturer who has private label entering their category should look at what Amazon Basics is up to. Amazon is being really kind of predatory almost with these kind of curated boxes. Like, for example, if you go search batteries, there's this box, maybe you'll like our brands, and it has a bunch of Amazon Basics batteries options there. Very much up towards above the fold, top of search results, trying to drive sales volume. So anyone, including OTC, that is interested in what the future of private label means for them in terms of the Amazon shopping experience, should expect kind of similar behavior. If Amazon thinks the item is good and that the consumers are really going to like it and it's going to drive value for the Amazon brand, they're going to be really predatory in terms of the positioning of the item on the platform. Outside of that, Amazon in healthcare this year, 2019, is going to be really interesting. The PillPack acquisition, obviously not OTC, more positioned around prescription, is an interesting one. PillPack, for anyone who's not aware, is a company based out of Boston that curates the daily medicine that, and they've got a pharmacist license, the daily medicine in easy to open pouches for people, and delivers it to their doorstep. And the idea here is that you can simply open up the pouch, take all of your pills at once. You don't have to sort them yourself. It's really easy and intuitive. It's all stored in this really digitally technical interface for you to monitor. I think, it's potentially a little bit relevant to OTC as well. Yeah, obviously, someone's taking their prescription drugs, but any of the over-the-counter, pills that they might be taking would possibly be integrated into those PillPack systems as well. Expect Amazon to only really expand more deeply into health, wellness, healthcare. 2019 is going to be a big year for that. And one more question here. Looking through. The last question we have is talking a little bit more about Amazon's competition in the United States and who are the basically biggest competitive threats to courting sellers. So I talked a little bit about how Shopify is enabling more small businesses to kind of set up their own shops that are a little bit differentiated from Amazon. I think eBay is making some big investments. For most kind of FMCG categories, eBay is not really all that relevant, and it is 3P only. But actually, it's funny, in kind of the health and wellness space and otherwise kind of the personal care space, PharmaPacks, which is one of the biggest 3P sellers in the country and sells on Amazon, is a big seller on eBay as well. And so increasingly seeing more categories enter eBay. eBay is going to try and have basically a better offering in terms of a business experience to third-party sellers, so to try and steal more of them from Amazon.com. Walmart is also heavily courting 3P sellers. So the environment is getting more and more competitive. Instagram, if they add more and more shopping features, is a potential major competitive threat to Amazon. So expect Amazon to face some competitive challenges going forward to try and keep driving that 3P sales volume up. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. I know I didn't get to all the questions, but we will try to reach out independently after the call. Please tune in next month for our Amazon monthly webinar. Thanks again.